The upset is complete as the kills come through. The SKT dynasty is over. All hail the new king.
The greatest player of all time had fallen from his throne. But a squad of rookies was the salvation he never expected.
Their scouting is also really, really good. They find players who are just head first. I think that's what creates this T1 environment is so special.
T1 rebuilt. People didn't know what to expect, but they changed the game forever.
The Charm, he's going to split them. Carrier tries to get it. He goes forward and then just explodes, and then Ona thinks that that's his moment. It's a double again.
It's not just superstition, there is a bit of that aura to T1.
Take a look for that flank. We'll see the way the quickness from on gets. Charm flashes in, finds two. Equalizer on the back line as well. And Baker is not off this earth.
This is the story of a band of brothers who won the hearts of League fans everywhere, on top of winning it all.
Knight goes in with the spear rush, lands the charm as well. The first Nexus tower's fallen, and T1 are just looking for the prize. They're hungry for it. T1 are the past, the present, and the future.
This is the story of ZOFGK.
The curtain call is a fitting end to the World Championship as Samsung Galaxy are being dove under their tower. SK Telecom have overcome every challenge. They are the undisputed best team in the world. The SKT reign continues. They win their third World Championship.
Back in 2016, Faker and SKT made history, becoming the first team to win back-to-back World Championships, solidifying themselves as the best League of Legends team in the world. And even after their legendary jungler Bengi retired from pro play, SKT followed up their World's 2016 triumph by going back-to-back at MSI with Peanut and Huni on the roster. Faker and SKT were on top of the world. It seemed like their reign would last forever, but it all came crumbling down.
Samsung Galaxy push mid first. As you can see, the flash hold left. They've caught Faker. They've got the CC. The mid laner is down. There are no turrets. It is 5 versus 3. Huni, do you have what it takes to win the game? Bang certainly does not. Ruler on the Nexus. The upset is complete as the kills come through. The SKT dynasty is over. All hail the new kings, Samsung Galaxy.
The loss was crushing, and to make things worse, no one realized then how long it would take SKT to recover. In 2018, they failed to qualify for Worlds entirely, and despite winning both domestic splits in 2019, they only managed top 4 finishes at MSI and Worlds. For a team as storied as SKT, it simply wasn't good enough. Fans expected better, but so did the organization. So did the players. The team, now rebranded as T1, rebuilt around Faker, signing star talent in almost every role. A win at the spring split gave them hope, but their year ended in disaster.
No matter what they do, they're just going to have the emotes flash in their face over and over. Knight just dunked their lives in the back line once again and will pick up the win for top esports.
He's going to be absolutely fine. The second and last Nexus turret is taken down. Mystic flashes on forward. Death Defy is not enough, and Afrika are going to perform the miracle. They'll knock T1 out.
Really nice combo. Shockwave coming in, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter. They get pulled in, and Gen G will be making it to the World Championship.
T1 once again failed to qualify for the World Championship. It was catastrophic, a dramatic low point for the once best team in the world. For an organization with T1's pedigree, missing out on Worlds was simply unacceptable. It seemed at this point that the dream was truly dead. Faker would always be the greatest of all time, and the SKT dynasty would always have their place in League history, but that was it. They'd be relegated to history. The legacy would not live into the present. But instead of giving up, T1 looked inwards for the flame that would reignite their long-lost heritage. In the past, they'd relied heavily on their academy system to develop up-and-coming Korean talent. There was a long list of incredible players who made it through on that path. Even Faker graduated through a similar program.
Their scouting is also really, really good. They find players who are just head first, I want to get better, I want to do this. And I think that's what creates this T1 environment that's so special.
And for those who still dreamed, there was one hope: Gumayushi. He was an up-and-coming 18-year-old AD carry who was previously a T1 trainee. Although they lost to Gen.G, Gumiyushi's performance against Afrika Freaks in the lead-up to the final impressed many people. T1 saw a path forward with Gumiyushi, so they bet their future on the next generation. Ahead of the 2021 season, T1 signed even more young talent, bringing in support player Keria from DRX and promoting their academy top laner Zayas to the main roster, along with their academy jungler Owner. T1 started the year with a 10-man roster, subbing in the academy graduates with their existing lineup. It was unconventional, but it was working. These younger, newer players proved that they could hang with the best, and after a top 4 finish in spring, the rookies were beginning to get more playtime. But in order to compete with LCK's best, they needed to decide on one roster. Owner and Keria helped T1 finish second in summer. Then, Gumiyushi came in to help the team earn a spot at Worlds, and they shocked everyone, finishing top 4 at Worlds, only losing out in an extremely close battle to Damwon. Most of T1's talented young rookies had cemented themselves in the starting roster by the end of the year, but they were still missing something. During the offseason, T1 offloaded many of their older players, including their top laner Kana, who asked to be transferred. The roster was now Zayas, Owner, Faker, Gumiyushi, and Keria, ZOFGK. And the decision instantly reaped rewards. T1 dominated the spring split, going undefeated in the group stage, then winning in playoffs, the new roster's first victory. They were gaining synergy at a rapid pace, and it wasn't just on Summoner's Rift. The players were becoming more than just a team. They became a family.
그만큼 서로가 만족하니까 이렇게 오래 할 수 있다고 생각하고 있고, 꽤나 잘하는 선수들이기 때문에 저절로 호흡도 나는 것 같고, 우리가 상혁이 형을 제외하고는 다 또래이기 때문에 그런 점도 좀 잘 어울려져서 좋은 분위기를 내는 것 같고, 그래서 저절로 이제 성적도 나오기 때문에 팬분들도 좋아하시는 것 같고, 저희가 이렇게 오랫동안 유지함으로써 불편하지 않고 좋은 경기력을 보여드릴 수 있는 것 같습니다.
T1 carried their momentum from the spring split to MSI, but it wasn't enough. They took RNG to 5 games, but couldn't get over the finish line. That said, they almost won, which meant that for the first time in years, it looked like T1 could actually win an international title. But the dream looked dead when they returned to Korea. T1 weren't nearly as dominant as they were back in spring.
Getting a World Trophy so many years ago, Zayas is desperately trying to hold on. He does go golden himself, but look at these Nexus turrets, and for the first time, Gen.G will crack a 3rd Nexus!
Gen.G defeated T1, winning the summer split and earning a spot in the 2022 World Championship as Korea's #1 seed. T1 were still going to Worlds, but if they were going to have any chance at winning, then they'd have to clean things up fast. In 2016, many chalked up T1's win to their deep roster of veterans who could be relied on to clutch up in key moments. Now, the roster was different, full of younger players without that high-stakes experience, but they were driven to prove themselves. T1 made their way through the group stage with ease, only dropping a single game on their way to playoffs, and awaiting them in the knockout stage was RNG, the team that took them down in the MSI final. But T1 wasn't going to let that happen again.
They want #1. They want a shot at the best in the LPL. They want a semi-final, and they will get it as they face JDG in Atlanta as they break RNG and cross the finish line in the quarterfinals.
T1 got revenge on RNG to earn yet another top 4 finish at Worlds, but top 4 wasn't good enough anymore.
10 years in his career, 5 years since Ruler kicked him out in the finals. And tomorrow we may see him rematch that man for his 4th title. The Nexus turrets fall. T1 back to the finals for the first time in 5 years.
T1 were headed to the grand finals at Worlds. 5 years earlier, T1 won in the US, and they were here again. Another NA Worlds, another shot at victory and redemption.
That's all the pitches. Got some great ideas here, guys. It's going to be a really great story offseason. Seb?
I actually have one more pitch.
Okay, shoot.
Look, all these stories are great, but this is the best one of them all. It's the story of Cash App.
Seb, what are you talking about?
I'm so glad you asked, Dimitri. I'm talking about Cash App, and specifically their amazing new security features. Like the fact that with the tap of a button you can lock or unlock your Cash App card using your phone.
Look, Seb, Cash App is a great partner, but we tell stories about esports presented by Cash App, not stories about Cash App. This pitch makes no sense.
As I was saying, if there's ever any suspicious activity on your card, Cash App will automatically decline the purchase and ask you if you made it. They even offer 24/7 fraud monitoring too. With Cash App, your money is right where you left it. So spend with...
Guys?
So spend with peace of mind, spend with Cash App.
DRX were the Cinderella story of the tournament. Destiny was on T1's side, but the momentum was with DRX. Game 1 went to ZOFGK, but DRX struck back in a lengthy second game. T1 answered back in Game 3, putting themselves up 2-1 in the final, but then they crumbled.
T1 tries to find the fight, and they're finally going to kill Def, but Kingan's still there to fight over the side. Zeka getting chased, Barrel trying to protect. A beautiful handshake from Renata as Carrier falls. T1, 2v3. Barrel may be the target, but Gumayushi is locked down. Gumayushi is executed by the sword of Kingan. Zeus is low, he's trying to get himself away. The turret still barely standing. Carrier now going to be your target. Kingan chasing him away. Gumayushi goes in. It won't matter. They're done. That's it. DRX are taking us to Game 5. Look at the trap line. Look at the Caitlyn. He's trying to stun him away. Owner goes in. Owner is down. The Drake secured. T1's jungler trying to go. T1's going for the base. DRX will march forward. Carrier wants to hit the wave. Kingan goes to the Whirlwinder. Gumayushi is dead. They have been doubted. They have been discounted. They have been dismissed. But DRX are your 2022 World Champions.
It was heartbreaking. T1 let the trophy slip from their grasp, and Carrier's emotions got the best of him. T1 were forced to watch as Deft and DRX completed their remarkable run, lifting the trophy and making history of their own. Unfortunately, when the 2023 season started up again, T1 still couldn't beat Gen G.
And it's a day of threes here for Gen G. 3 different styles of composition, a 3-0, and the three-peat! The three-peat is coming to life. Gen G will do it once again. They take out T1 in an epically dominant final.
Despite falling to Gen G and missing out on yet another LCK title, T1's performance throughout the year was still good enough to earn them a spot at the World Championship. And this time around, there was extra motivation. Worlds 2023 was being hosted in South Korea. Faker failed to qualify for the last 2 Worlds held in Korea, so this was his chance to lift the Summoners Cup in front of his fans at home. T1 qualified for playoffs where they dominated LNG in the opening round, securing a top 4 finish for a 3rd consecutive year.
The last light of the LCK burns bright, and Busan is ahead to the semifinals!
And luckily for T1, BLG eliminated Gen G in the quarterfinals. But awaiting them in the semifinals instead was JDG, the team that had won every single event throughout the season. They were on the verge of completing the Golden Road for the first time ever and solidifying their spot in League of Legends history as one of the greatest rosters of all time. But Faker and T1 stomped on their ambitions.
But they won't have the opportunity. We do see Knight already here. Doesn't look like T1 is going to be able to contest the streak.
Taylor's going for the solo bolo, and he just gets the kill!
Weaver's wall coming out, isolating Owner. Might go for the 50-50, but it's absolutely Psycho flashes over the arrow. Faker goes in! It is very tough not to have the cleanse. Stays on the flank, stays on the side. TP coming in, Faker looking to make the play, he gets Ruler! Owner goes in! And again, the combos are clean, the hostile takeover is damn well hostile! A single misstep from JDG and T1 can instantly fully commit to the fight. It's the shockwave, Kanavi getting lower and lower, falling apart under the pressure. JDG's hope dwindling. They've taken down BLG, they've taken down LNG. It is not LPL versus LCK, it is T1 versus the LPL, and they like those odds as they move to finals.
Against all odds, T1 denied JDG their chance at the Golden Road. ZOFGK were headed to yet another World's Grand Final. This was their chance to lift the Summoners Cup on home soil in front of tens of thousands of their screaming fans.
세 번째 우승은 저 자신을 위한 거였습니다. 네 번째 우승은 우리 팀을 위한 것입니다.
And T1 did not disappoint.
Break open the base of Weibo here in game 1 of the finals. Nature's Grasp flying forward. Ona still has that GA. Remember, Chris going down so incredibly low. Zayas just executes the Chai up to the side, and there is another one. This guy's Yone is just absurd. And the inhibitor's going to go down. Weiwei is burning there as well. As now Xiao Hu tries to be the hero, but it does not work out. And I think T1 are just going to end game 1 here. Here's another one, the Nature's Grasp. They all line up behind, but it's a decent charm to come through their hostile takeover for some phenomenal disengage. And it looks like T1, they don't want to deal with it. Faker dashes over the wall. Remember, they don't have a turret here. The charm is going to split them. Carrier tries to get it. He goes forward and then just explodes. And then Ona thinks that that's his moment. It's a double again for this Nocturne, and he survives. Flashes in. He finds himself the charm onto 4s. There is the ultimate from the Shy, but it just doesn't quite do enough. They try and get out, but Faker has the perfect execution and locks down his fellow ninja. Xiao Hu now taking a whole lot of damage, and Faker is in the shroud. He's toying with him. It's a double kill. What? Order! And back in again. It's a triple for Faker. Zayas is going to be able to help lock down the next one. Faker eventually goes down, but it's 4 for him and Carrier.
4 times T1 has lost in a game 5. 4 times they've been knocked out, and 4 times they have got back up for this moment.
It was 7 years since their last, a decade since their first. The SKT legacy has been reignited. T1 will be your 2023 World Champions.
For the first time since 2016, T1 finally lifted the Summoners Cup. They were no longer living in the shadow of T1's former glory. They'd made history of their own, but T1's resume meant that there was always pressure to achieve more. And following their win at Worlds, T1 extended Zayas, Gumayushi, and Carrier's contracts for an additional year, keeping the roster intact for at least 1 more season. But when pro play returned in 2024, things were back to normal in Korea. T1 fought to push Gen G to 5 games, but they still couldn't overcome their domestic rivals in the spring split. Then at MSI, they once again lost to BLG, finishing 3rd at the tournament. They managed to get revenge only a couple months later on their way to an esports World Cup win, but that event didn't hold the same prestige as MSI or Worlds. When they returned to Korea for the summer splits, T1 struggled. D+ and HLE overtook them in the regular season, and they never got their chance at a rematch against Gen G in playoffs. And the pressure was starting to get to Faker.
But now Gen G feel like they're back in control.
Yeah, it's still interesting. It's not over yet, but Gen G making the plays.
Yeah, they're trying to isolate this front line, actually, trying to get on top of the Mordekaiser. But now Faker going to go into the fight and immediately just die as Toby will take him down and punish Faker in the mid lane.
I mean, there were some great proactive plays here from T1, don't get me wrong. There were also some big errors as well, and some overextensions. Faker had a better start this game around, but certainly made some aggressive choices. Got Pays the one time, did not get him the second time there on the bottom fight. Unfortunately, Pays was able to skate his way out of that one.
With their spot at Worlds now in jeopardy, T1 were forced to play in the regional finals, where they looked even shakier.
They haven't gotten a win since 2021, when they made it to Worlds, when they were running the LCK.
Look at Showmaker, he knows it's over. D+ Kia, they are going to Worlds, beating T1.
But T1 were determined to make it to Worlds and defend their title. They locked in and found their path to the tournament.
10 seconds on Barrel. Is that going to be enough? Perfect. He goes in trying to stall, but the Nexus turrets are falling.
Def can't get the angle.
They're just trying to do it. T1, they want to go to Worlds. Will they be able to? All they got to do is take down the Nexus, and they will get the job done. You will be seeing T1 at Worlds.
It was close, but T1 were headed back to the World Championship. Despite their rocky year, they still had a chance to defend their title, but they looked just as shaky once the tournament began.
So much of the early game was in control of T1. It felt like they come ahead in the lane swaps, but in the fights, TES have been better. The turns, T1 the ones who overextended in TES's jungle, giving those kills to Jackie Love costs them as TES take down T1.
A loss to top esports meant that the pressure was already on. T1. They'd never failed to make it to the playoffs at a World Championship, and this time wasn't going to be any different.
I think Pain Gaming are preparing themselves for the consolatory ones at the end here. The dive in by Owner onto Jinkedo, the Nexus Towers falling, the hostile takeover coming out, and Pain Gaming can only watch from the fountain as T1 rip them apart.
Has ultimate in 10 seconds. Great impale. Ben in the midst of 3, but is it going to be enough? He just cannot finish the kills. Oh, now getting knocked back. The Nor is there, and T1 will not be denied. T1 1-2-1 on can knock them away, but he cannot knock them out of this game. T1 take down BLG.
I don't think G2 is getting a second act. The dive onto the backline by Yike, but immediately he is low. Cap's already assassinated on the back, and T1 are just ripping them to shreds. T1 absolutely melting G2 under their Nexus Towers. History doesn't repeat itself, but it damn well rhymes. It's another Friday. It's another T1 win.
T1 fought their way back to earn a spot in the playoffs in Paris. It seemed as though T1's Worlds buff was back in full force.
This is Worlds, this is T1, this is where they live. They love this place. We kind of forget that because a lot of what our memories do is they add the result and then everything else comes afterwards. But I don't think that's relevant.
But awaiting them in the quarterfinals was the only team who had beaten them at the event, Top Esports. In order to go any further and earn a chance at defending their title, T1 needed to win the run back. They were out for revenge.
TES still standing, Jackie Love still standing, double lady carry, but Baker in the clutch, the arm guard, he goes gold and he buys a moment. TN perfect timing, but it does not matter, because here comes Scuba, baby! Doubles coming through, T1 takeover! Striking back in this crucial game 3.
The second kill plus, they can keep pushing.
Another hook, carry's not done, Jackie Love's out of tools, going to the depth, oh, it's clean! This man plays Pike! You love to see it, the ult. They add TES to the long list of teams that they have taken down. T1 at Worlds are Titans, and they move on to the semifinals.
Off the back of yet another incredible performance from T1's bot lane, they dominated Top Esports to earn a spot in the semifinals. But awaiting them there was Gen G. T1 had avoided them at Worlds the past 2 years, but this time they'd have to be the ones to take them down if they wanted to be back-to-back champions.
LCK에서 저희가 젠지한테 계속 지긴 했지만 월드에서 이제 월드나 그런 큰 무대에서 한 번도 만난 적이 없고 그래서 지금 만나서 이기려고 지금까지 졌나 싶기도 해서 이번에는 저희가 이기면은 되게 좋은 긍정적인 효과를 줄 것 같아가지고 모두에게 저희 팀과 저에게 모두에게 그래서 뭐 일주일 동안 열심히 잘 준비해야 될 것 같습니다.
These minions are going to now join these Nexus turrets. Lahen's just trying to buy some time, and he knows that this game is over. Jovi just trying to get back to his fountain. Goes golden alongside Faker. As the Nexus is not going to go down. The perfect execution.
The mobility and how, like in the meta, it feels it can be difficult to play. But in a position like this,
yeah, Faker looking for Canyon, trying to find that opportunity, scaring him with where the shot might go. Point blank, the charge, the stun, but the knockback with the monster shot is not enough. And first blood goes to Faker's Ari. Chains of Corruption just try and buy some space. And the flash under Faker, the knock up, and he's dead. Pieces arrows follow him into the death chamber as the impale is decent. Oda still alive, he's so tanky, and it's going to be Yushi taking matters into his own hands. The spears go wide and the party goes down. It's a double kill for the Skarner, and Chovy's still alive. There's a bit of damage, but he gets over the wall, flashes, but the bone skewer finds him. He goes golden, he's holding onto the wave. He wants to take it down, he does. But another one is Conga lining in. Lahen's, he knows he just has to move it away from these Nexus turrets. And he is able to stall it out. Another teleport. Baker does come back. And they'll now get their time. It is Guma that's able to melt these turrets. And Gen G for the last 2 years have been the kings of Korea. But we know the world is T1's home ground.
Despite getting dominated by Gen G over the past year, T1 took down their rivals when it mattered most, securing a spot in the World's Grand Final for the 3rd year in a row. This roster wasn't just competing for a second consecutive title, they were competing to become the greatest dynasty League of Legends had ever seen.
I think when you talk about, what it means for T1 to actually win here, it's the start of a new dynasty. Last year was the first time Faker had won Worlds in 7 years. It was the proof that this this team can still rise to the top and that Faker can be playing at that elite level, that it is not all his successes are in the past internationally. And the fact that they could be starting a new dynasty here could also really change things for the team going into next year, because there's a lot of expectation that this current roster could be breaking up. And that one stumble could mean the end of the road for this T1 iteration. I think for a lot of the players, you know, if you want to stay together, it's, in a lot of ways, win or go home.
But awaiting them in the grand finals was China's #1 team, BLG. Despite a slow start to the tournament, BLG had picked up steam in every match, and they looked like a real threat once they made it to the grand finals. And Game 1 was a stomp for BLG.
Guma, Yushi, Ono, and Kevin are trying to defend the arrow once again. Impale get hits Guma! He's got flash, but he's still stunned up. The Impale comes out, and Guma falls under his own Nexus towers. T1 still trying to defend. Zeus doing everything he can to keep Knight away. But BLG continue to advance. The first Nexus tower's down. Faker's back up. Trying to find something out of this game, trying to find some defense against BLG, but the oncoming masses are just too damn strong. An arm into the wall. Baker's fate is sealed as he dives the backline and dies for it. BLG come out swinging and take Game 1.
T1 bounced back in Game 2 to even the series, but BLG clapped back, taking Game 3 in convincing fashion. T1 were on the ropes.
Once again, a little bit overstepped here in the bottom side, and Bin jumps in, hops on, and Minion takes the Highway Express to get towards this Rumble, who goes overheated. Flame Spitter going down, but Zeus is going to go back to the fountain again. No escape for him. He tries to clear the wave, but in the end, he will be put in the ground by Bin.
BLG were running away with the game. The series was all but theirs. Knight's Smolder felt inevitable, and as the seconds ticked away, so too slipped T1's chances. But Faker refused to go quietly.
Faker dashing forward for a little bit more damage, using that passive to its full effect. Steals away the Mega Inferno Bomb. Elk has to flash it. Faker takes the tower, and Elk just dies. It's hunting season.
The reason why this is such a good pairing, as the arrow goes wide, but Faker's still here.
Take a look for that flank. Will seal away the quickness from On. Gets Charm, flashes in, binds two. Equalizer in the back line as well. As Faker is not off this earth. He finds the engage. He finds everything T1 were looking for.
Just like he'd done so many times before, Faker found the game-winning engage to keep T1's hopes alive. His Silas play gave them the lifeline that they needed to find their way back into the game and to push the series the distance.
There's only On left to defend the Nexus. Faker steals away the Rakan ultimate. The defense is not strong enough, and T1 will bring us to Game 5.
T1 were one game away from becoming back-to-back world champions and solidifying themselves as League of Legends' greatest ever dynasty. But once again, BLG put them on the back foot. BLG targeted Faker from the start.
Zeus already pushed the wave. Zeus is going to get the first move, but Faker under attack.
Has no flash, shots his punch, gets hit. There's the charm as well. And Faker might fall first in the finals of the finals. Few levels were spent on opposite sides of the map. Very tiny gold lead for BLG. Faker again with a good Justice Punch to dodge away from the charm in mid.
The reason we're so focused on that is because you can balloon these gold leads so quickly, but Faker under attack!
Does have the flash, will punch forward. Justice Punch coming out. On, misses the crash down. The charm connects though, and the chase continues as Shun dives forward. Faker saved the flash.
BLG were doing everything in their power to prevent Faker from making an impact on the game. But even though he was falling behind Knight in gold, T1's bot lane was growing stronger and stronger.
T1 find another kill, extend their gold lead to 2k, and they'll secure the first dragon of the game.
And it is a very tall task here for BLG to get Elk back into this game.
Although Faker had been targeted by countless early ganks, T1 was holding strong. Gold was fairly even, and a single team fight could turn the tides.
Now, in Game 4, you said with confidence that you don't expect the game to end in 27 minutes. I feel like this game isn't going to end in 27 minutes, with how tense it's been so far, with clear win conditions laid out for both sides.
Right when BLG thought that they had found the fight that would win them the World Championship, Faker and T1 stood tall.
BLG find two, T1 able to back away for the moment, but the TP behind by Bin as he looks for a little bit more.
Oh, they go back in!
Faker flashes in, and down goes Knight! Once again, when you need someone, when you need anyone to stand up and show just what this game's all about, it's Faker
outside it. The Baron in their minds.
But BLG were still looking for a way back into the game, and at the 31-minute mark, they thought they'd found it.
Wait a second, topside, Zeus under fire!
Zeus caught out, killer instinct in by BLG, collapsing, 4 members strong, the heroes entry.
Oh, Zeus!
Faker joins the fight, Elko with the stopwatch, Faker in the middle of them all, and it seems like death may have arrived, and his name is Faker! He's here for your lives! The rest of T1 begin his collapse, Faker's gonna fall, as he pulls the stopwatch, manages to buy himself a second, Owner here to save his mid laner once again, and Faker still stands, he has ascended!
Although Zeus got caught out top, Faker immediately came to his rescue, and the two of them fended off 4 members of BLG long enough for the rest of T1 to bury BLG. Keria even interrupted Knight's teleport, preventing his Ahri from having any impact on the decisive moment.
4 members dead, it's only Knight left to defend his base, his crumbling kingdom at the hands of T1, an inhibitor will fall, and T1 set their sights on the Nexus!
Knight goes in with the Spirit Rush, lands the charm as well. The first Nexus tower's fallen, and T1 are just looking for the prize. They're hungry for it. T1 are the past, the present, and the future. A new era, the same empire. T1 are your 2024 world champions.
A new era for T1 and an incredible performance.
Please keep that roster together again. That right there is the new T1 dynasty.
Just like they did in 2016, Faker and T1 won back-to-back World Championships. But considering they went to 3 consecutive finals, many people felt that this ZOFGK roster was the greatest dynasty League of Legends had ever seen. But unfortunately, all dynasties come to an end.
Zeus has left T1. It was announced yesterday that the star top laner who had won 2 Worlds titles with the org has now joined Hanwha Life Esports. Rumors have been raging on social media that the entire move has been a mess from start to finish behind the scenes, that neither party wanted, that Zeus's agency are responsible for, and that T1 are far from happy about.
The ZOFGK era was over, not with a dramatic loss, but with confusing contract drama that all but overshadowed their glory. Miscommunication and mishandling of the situation caused League of Legends' greatest ever dynasty to collapse. Zeus wanted to stick around and continue to play with his old teammates, but this was the end of the road for the top laner. While ZOFGK is no more, their achievements still stand. Their towering victories, huge personalities, and incredible story will live on in League history forever. The greatest ever player led a squad of rookies to greatness. They are the greatest dynasty the game has ever seen, and perhaps they always will be. Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit us up on our X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.